Hello everybody and welcome to Lobricks. Today we are taking a look at the Imperial Light Cruiser, so let's get into it. So, the Imperial Light Cruiser. This is a set that is out currently. It came out in 2022 and it retailed for 160 United States dollars, coming with 6 minifigures. And I mean, the minifigures are sweet, let's be honest. These are some of the coolest minifigures we've seen all year, and then the set itself is pretty cool. There's a lot to look at today, so let's get into it. We're going to start off with the sweet figures, so let's take a look at those. Alright, the first minifig is the Mandalorian, and he comes with his Beskar armor and his Beskar spear, because if you remember, Ahsoka gave him the Beskar spear at this point in the show. The Mandalorian is, of course, a sweet minifigure. He's got those awesome arm printing there. Very bright, very shiny, very reflective. He's got, of course, that beautiful Beskar helmet that we've been seeing for a while. And then Beskar armor, which is a very nice print. And I overall really like this figure. And then that arm printing can also be seen on the other side. Although we have seen this figure before, it is still a sweet figure to have. And overall, really good. One of the better figures we've seen from LEGO in a while, for sure. But let's move into the next figure. Alright, next up is this little fella right here. We might have to get him a little closer so you can see him. It is Grogu. And this minifigure hasn't actually changed. Well, his skin, or his skin there, is actually a little darker than it was on some of the other sets. I know that in the Razor Crest and in Battle of Tatooine it was a little lighter, at least for our model. That just might be just our model we got, or it could be across the board. I'm not exactly sure, but it's just such a slight change that it's not even worth mentioning, well, even though I mentioned it. But Grogu is a pretty sweet figure. He's very small, as you can see. If you can get my finger in here, he's very small. He's the size of a traditional Lego baby. I mean, it's a minifigure plate he's standing on there. You can do the math. He's very small, but still a sweet figure to have, and I'm glad that we now have like 5 of them at this point. But anyway, let's move into the next figure. Alright, next up is Cara Dune, and unfortunately this is probably going to be the last time we see this figure in LEGO ever, due to the issues that Disney has with the actor, and a bunch of boring nonsense that goes on in the real world instead of the LEGO world. But it is the same figure we saw in the Raider set, so it is pretty cool. We've got nice chest printing and belt printing and leg printing there. With no arm prints, you got no sleeves, so you don't really see any, but you do get printing on the back, which is cool to see. She's got a pretty nice haircut there for her character. It matches her very well, and then the face also matches up very well. It's a very realistic figure for what you see in the show, and definitely a good one to have in the set, and it's really nice to see. But anyway, that is probably the last we're going to see of Cara Dune. So let's move into the next figure. Alright, here's a sweet figure. We get Fennec Shan. She is one of the nicest LEGO minifigures that come out this year. Currently, she's exclusive to the set, but that might change in the future. But she's got some really cool printing on the torso there and legs, and with some arm printing, very true to her actual character in the movie. She's got her helmet as well, very cool looking, with some back printing as well. If we take off the helmet, you can see her face here. Very realistic to how the character looks in the show. Overall, a really awesome figure, and if you want to get this figure online, because, you know, you're not going to be buying the set, you're going to have to actually pay quite a bit of money. She is very expensive, but she's also very cool. But anyway, that's Fennec Shan. Let's move into the next figure. Alright, next up is Moff Gideon, a really cool figure here. He's got some nice printing on his chest there with the dark saber. Very awesome, very awesome. He's got a very realistic face to the actor. I mean, that is just really cool to see. He's one of my personal favorite actors, and he's just overall plays the character very well if you've seen the show. And I'm glad that we've got a very nice representation of him in Lego form. He's got this nice cloth cape, which is black on the outside and red on the inside, like Moff Gideon is in the show. Overall, a solid figure, and I'm really glad to see we finally got him. And again, he's exclusive to the set, which means you got to pay exorbitant prices online if you want to get this fella. But anyway, let's move into the final figure in the set. All right, the last and arguably coolest figure in this set is the Dark Trooper. He is sweet looking. I mean, just look at that helmet. Look at that armor he's got on there. And it comes with a slightly miscolored gun. It's like a gunmetal gray. It's not the traditional black Lego gun there as his accessory. It's just a sweet minifigure. I'm really glad that this figure is coming out in a cheaper set, because right now he is so expensive to get on eBay. I mean, some of the prices are just ridiculous, but I can see why this figure is so sweet. Overall, in my opinion, the best figure that's come out this year has got to be this Dark Trooper. Very true to form of how he looks in the show. He's got his evil-looking face under that helmet. I mean, I don't think you ever see him without the helmet on, but there's that. But anyway, he will be coming out in a set. You'll get 4 of them. It'll be cheap, and I cannot wait for that. But anyway, that is the last figure in the Imperial Light Cruiser set, so let's take a look at the build itself. Alright, so here we have it, the Imperial Light Cruiser. There's a lot of cool things about this set, and the first thing I do want to say is, as far as LEGO ships go, this thing is pretty sturdy. You really can hold it from whatever angle you want, and it's got a lot of holding points to actually fly it around. But one thing it doesn't have that you might see on other LEGO ships is it doesn't have a dedicated handle. But I mean, the control tower up here can basically be your handle. It can support the whole ship, and you can swing it around, and it's very swooshable. Its swoosh factor is through the roof here. And overall, the detail on this thing is just amazing. I mean, if we just take a look at the side greebling here, you don't got a lot of gaps. And overall, it looks really sweet. And there is, of course, cool details like the TIE Fighter. And there is actually a feature with the TIE Fighter that we'll get into later. But the overall detail on this thing is just LEGO is really stepping up their game with the play scale sets. And this is definitely an example of that. There's not a lot of gaps, and this just looks really sweet. It's very displayable. I mean, you take off these green places here for the guns. I mean, you've got yourself a very nice looking ship. But if you are a child, which this is meant for, there's a lot of cool play features, including these green things, which just so happen to be spring-loaded missiles. You get 4 of them. You get 2 on this side. And if we swing her around to the other side, you get 2 more on the other side. And of course, these things are great. You can just pew, pew, and they shoot real far. It's not like the 1980s. They just let us kids now have projectiles, you know, just to shoot each other's throats. That was a big old deal in the 1980s. But as far as interior goes, there's not a lot of room. It does look really sweet on the outside, but from here back, you got no interior. The only interior you actually get in here is right up in here. This folds open, and then you can see we've got a nice looking interior in here for you to put your Moff Gideon at the control panel. Got some room in there, and you actually can shut it. Kind of broke his Darksaber off, but, you know, he has room to actually stand up, which is nice. Overall, as far as interior space goes, I mean, Moff Gideon would not be pleased. Let's be honest. A few beepy boop boop panels in here, and then a little coffee table in the middle. You can tell it's a coffee table because Moff Gideon, he gets real grumpy in the morning if he doesn't have his coffee. Let me tell you, he's just like, I need my coffee. That's why in the alternate universe of where he was Gustavo Fring, he had that coffee contraption in his lab, if you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, you can't really get a good interior while having a good exterior, and I think it's definitely a trade-off because you see some structural bits there, and overall the exterior looks a lot nicer than this interior. Let's get real. But I definitely would take that trade-off because this thing looks sweet. And that's really what you're going for as a kid. At least that's what I wanted, was just a sweet-looking ship. Like, if I was playing Space Battle with my friend and I pull up in one of these, there's not much he can bring out, like, that looks cooler than this. I mean, there is obviously some stuff that is cooler, but there's not much. Another cool feature is that these little TIE fighters in here actually can come out like so. You just pull them, give them a pull. Sometimes their wings come off, but just a minor repair, not an entire structural thing. And you got a little TIE fighter here. It looks pretty good. I mean, it's not much to it. It's just kind of a few pieces thrown together with a little printed tile up front. But if you actually take your TIE fighter here, and we go back to our interior, you can slide in your TIE fighter right up front here. I'll get a better angle for you in a second. And then you can shoot the TIE fighter right out. Boom! And he's going in for the invasion. So it's just this real nice mechanism up top that is just this little lever and then some sliding panels. As you can see here, it's just this little push pin and then some sliding panels there, and it shoots it right out. And then it's very easy to reload. I mean, that's definitely a feature. I mean, it's something. It's an idea. I think it was a cool feature to include, and it's also really sweet to see these ready for battle TIE fighters once you actually put it back in the hangar here. It's just a really cool thing to see. But overall, this is a very, very nice looking set, and I definitely think that for the price, I mean, come on, it's not really, it's going apart. We just click that back into place there. Not even a problem. But I definitely think for the price, this thing is worth it. Not to mention that, let's say you just wanted this set yourself. If you were to go through and just buy this set and sell all the minifigures individually on eBay, you would probably be making a profit. That is how valuable these figures are. And it's definitely clear to see. I mean, those figures just looked fantastic. But overall, it's definitely a cool set. But there's just not much to it play feature-wise. So, you know, it's kind of that balance. It looks sweet, but really for play features, you've got a lackluster interior and shooty cannons up top. But is that enough? I definitely think so. You can pick this thing up and have space battles and such. But overall, a very cool set, and I definitely hold a high opinion of it. One worth getting, especially if you're into collecting of minifigures, or you're just a LEGO Star Wars fan who wants a cool ship to display on yourself. This is definitely the set for you. But anyway, guys, that's all I got for you this week. This is a very nice set, and I really like it. But I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to see more reviews, we definitely got some of those on our channel. If you like this video, don't forget to like it. If you want to see more, subscribe. We do a lot of MOCS over here. You know, my own creation. We're doing Hoth right now. We're building a whole huge big Hoth MOC, and we also have a Tatooine series that you should check out. If you're into that sort of thing, you're into Legos, you'll love it. I promise. It's a guarantee. But anyway, guys, I will see you in the next one, and I hope you enjoyed.